Hi everybody, it's Diana Andrews, food editor and test kitchen manager at Fine Cooking Magazine. We're back and we're doing Make It Tonight Monday. So tonight, I'm going to do another favorite of mine. This is one of my recipes, but I really love it so much, and it's so simple. And I don't know about you, but that long commute home from one room to the other, because we're still kind of in lockdown, makes me feel as if I just want something really good and really fast. And this is very few ingredients and really quick. So this is steamed sea bass fillets with black sesame seeds and scallions. And the fish I'm using is Chilean sea bass. And the reason I chose this is because I was shopping and I saw these fillets. And I don't see them that often. And when I do, I always buy them because they're so wonderful. So snowy white and beautiful, aren't they? So these are just about 5 ounces each, 5 to 6 ounces. A recipe calls for 4 fillets, but since it's just 2 of us tonight, I wish I could invite you over. Then I would have made the full recipe, but anyway. The fillets are skin on, and here I have them in my pie plate. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna steam these fillets, and these very few ingredients are going to create some very rich flavors. So I just want to go through the ingredients with you together. You have the Chilean sea bass. It's 5 or 6 ounce pieces, about 1.25 to 1.5 inches thick. A teaspoon of granulated garlic, another teaspoon of minced flat leaf parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon of granulated sugar, about a teaspoon of salt. I have 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan, some scallions for garnish, and some black sesame seeds to finish the deal. So, first thing I'm going to do is pat the fillets dry. Now, I did not reduce the quantity of the dry ingredients that I'm about to mix together. Because you really don't need to half them in this case, even though the recipe calls for 4 fillets, I'm actually doing 2. But you know, there's so few things to begin with that you really don't have to half them again. So in a small bowl, I'm going to combine everything. Right? So the granulated garlic, the parsley, the sugar, and the salt. And I'm going to mix that together. And I'm just going to season the fish all over. With this little mixture. And then I'm going to cook it. And this is really just going to take no time on the stove top. And along with this, I like to have a little sushi rice that I'm going to put out afterwards when I plate this. And also making some roasted green beans. And to roast them, it's so simple. It's just a little bit of oil to coat, a little salt and pepper. And I'd say I usually have an oven set at 400 is a good roasting temperature, center rack. I have my oven on convection tonight, so it's 375. So when you're doing convection, it's 25 degrees lower than normally because you've got the fans blowing around the hot air, and that's going to kind of compensate for the 25-degree drop. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and this is going to be done in no time, is put my green beans in the oven. My oven is really not that dirty. I know that, like, I turn the oven light on and, you know, see, the floor of the oven is clean. But like everyone, the window kind of gets a little grimy. I can't help that, and I'm sorry. I'm a little embarrassed, but, you know, I know you guys understand. Anyhow, I'm going to stay in a large nonstick skillet, and I'm going to put a little oil in the pan because the oil, I want the oil to kind of mix a little bit with the seasonings, and I want to be sure that everything is melding together and that skin is really going to move back and forth and come out of the pan really quickly. So I'm warming up the oil on medium heat. I think that's what the recipe said. You know, I write these recipes and honestly, they go in and out of my head, so I'm gonna have to check my own recipe, so sorry about that. Oh, medium low, I was right. Okay, so I'm gonna take this now, and you know, I always say when you see the oil shimmering, it's time to put your protein in the pan. And I'm just kind of, again, moving the oil around a little bit to coat. Usually I wouldn't put oil in a nonstick, but with this in particular, I really depend on it to make sure that skin stays really, really loose on the pan. And I'm gonna put these in, skin side down. You're not hearing the sizzle, and neither am I, which means I put them in too quickly. Okay, there's a little bit of sizzle going on now. And we're gonna just let it go. I'm gonna cover the pan because we are steaming this fish. I'm gonna cover the pan for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and flip them, and then we'll take this to the next step and we'll have dinner soon. It's that magical sound, it means dinner's ready. Okay, so our fish is done. I'm gonna leave that covered. So I should have shown you a little bit better. Believe me, it took me longer to find a lid that would fit on this than it did to make this dinner. So I'm going to remove my green beans, which are really just charred in places, which is what I really want. You know, I'm going to put this back in the oven just for a bit while I season up the rice. So this is sushi rice, which I absolutely love. It's steamed too, and to that I'm just going to add a little bit of sushi seasoning, and this is available in most Asian stores. Just a couple of tablespoons. Take a fork and just work it in. Again, I'm layering in flavors to things that already taste good. And these little condiments are part of my pantry, and maybe I'll do a pantry thing if anyone's interested besides, I don't know, a friend or two of what I have in my pantry. And I think we're good to go, so we're gonna plate. So the first thing I'm gonna do is try to keep my portions in check because I do tend to have a very big appetite. I just can't help it. All this glorious food. I like to use an ice cream scoop with rice because it makes it look naturally nice. And then I'm gonna take the green beans out of the oven. And I want them all browned up like this and wrinkled because all that charring is so delicious. Again, another really simple recipe. I'm really big on return on investment. I like a little bit of work and a lot of return on flavor. So that's kind of my MO on recipes that I develop and love. So I'm just going to put a few of these green beans on the plate. And to that, a beautiful piece. Whoop. A beautiful piece of the Chilean sea bass, which is perfectly steamed and so delicious. And so if it falls apart, it's okay. You don't have to eat the skin. The skin is really just left on, in this particular case, for the more of the richness that it lends to the fish. And I just want to show you how beautiful the flaking. This is through steaming, and it tastes buttery, and it's so rich and satisfying. So I'm going to bring the plate here, and just going to garnish a little bit with some scallions. And my favorite, black sesame seeds. And I had this hanging around in the refrigerator from some testing I did earlier in the week, and it is really fabulous. It's miso butter, and I think I'm going to put that on top of the green beans just a little bit. And literally all it is softened, unsalted butter, probably about 3 tablespoons, maybe 3.5, to 1 tablespoon of white miso paste. Just work that together, mash it with a fork. The taste is extraordinary. Anyway, that's it for tonight. This is Make It Tonight Monday. Stay safe, wash your hands, hug your family. We're in this together. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. Good night, and have a great dinner.